Ladies and gentlemen, we are discussing everything electric vehicles today with the less understood Warren Buffett-backed BYD, the Chinese competitor that is only comparable at scale to the likes of Tesla. We're going to be updating GM, Ford. We're going to be taking a look at Pulsestar, which recently came public, and the battery metals space. If that is a conversation you can appreciate, hit that like button, folks, because BYD year-to-date is up 20%, probably only comparable to the oil sector, which is pretty insane considering this chart is up 541% in the last 5 years with a wicked high PE ratio right now. But if we take a look at Tesla, guys, currently trading down 40%, even the larger Chinese space right now, when we're talking about Tencent and Alibaba, are still getting absolutely crushed. And this is on the back of news that Chinese State Administration for Market Regulation announced Sunday a wave of penalties for improperly reporting past deals in breach of competition law. So Chinese markets are still kind of getting devastated based to regulators, but nonetheless, this company BYD is crushing it, giving Warren Buffett a pretty juicy capital gain. Now, we're seeing headlines. The reason I wanted to talk about this was that Elon Musk once laughed at Warren Buffett-backed BYD. Now the EV maker is on such a hot streak, not even the pollution scandal can stop it. And this is basically people saying that BYD has now produced and done more deliveries with EVs than Tesla, but this isn't exactly true. Now, if you've never seen this company, they make very nice cars, but they have a suite of products from school buses to literally just anything that you'd probably use in factories like forklifts, trucks, all that jazz, right? But what we have to understand here is the deliveries don't line up exactly, because this is what people are comparing to Ford, GM with their hybrid vehicles, because the real article here is BYD outsells Tesla. Well, not exactly, right? So we read just kind of the highlight here that accordingly to the company's filings on Sunday, BYD sold 641,350 new energy vehicles in the first 6 months of 2022. That's a 315% increase over the same period in 2021, when automakers were still freshly emerging from being clobbered by the pandemic, which we're going to talk about that because they're still getting clobbered. Note the second set quotation marks, BYD does not strictly sell battery electric vehicles. So the term new energy vehicle also applies to hybrids, of BYD's total sales being about 323,000 were pure battery electric vehicles. Tesla, by comparison, delivered 564,000 in the first half of the year, and Tesla, as you know, sells only pure electrics, so it's still on top in the EV race. Now, this has always been a big competitor and a big discussion between the bullheaded GM and Ford guys out there versus the Tesla guys, but BYD, I think, is so largely misunderstood and is widely untalked about, right? So let's discuss Ford here real quick, because Ford stock is trading down 47%, just getting absolutely wrecked this year. And let's talk about the not the Cybertruck, but we're going to compare it to the Cybertruck, which is the Ford Lightning, right? Now, as we previously reported, Ford quickly accumulated over 200,000 reservations. They peaked it there, so we don't really know what the true demand is for the electric pickup, and realized that the demand was much higher than they anticipated. The company quickly ramped up its production and is now planning for an annual production rate of 150,000 units by the end of next year. The end of next year. This year, production is expected to be limited to about 40,000 units. They started delivering these electric trucks, so they're actually beating Tesla's Cybertruck. While this is not much compared to the overall F-150 productions, it is a good jump start to the electric pickup vehicles, right? But the problem is Ford's going through a lot of issues with recalls right now, fires, things that people would only put a shining light on when it was a Tesla problem. But the thing we have to kind of compare here is that they're actually delivering these vehicles with a ramp up coming into the next year, whereas Tesla continues to delay. The Cybertruck, even though they have over 1 million reservations, insane demand, they're still not expected to start delivering till the latter half of 2023, which is a big problem when Elon Musk was saying that it is costing them billions of dollars, and they're just throwing money in the fire right now, just trying to get production off the ground. Now, GM, I mean, this company is still lagging to kind of get the deliveries out. They've only delivered for the first quarter about 457 electric vehicles, but where the real problem comes with, I'm going to say, it's funny that Ford's been able to dodge this, because for Q2, the auto sales, EV, everything combined, was up 5.1% for Ford. And this is, again, for Q2, right? But when we take a look for General Motors, they're down 15.8% in all vehicles. Toyota's down 21%. This Stellantis is down 15.1%. Honda is down 47.7%. This is what we've been talking about with the big issue of these highly indebted dinosaur, old infrastructured auto companies that, like GM's declared bankruptcy so many times, right? They need this transition to go smoothly. And because Tesla's having so many problems, we're starting to see that actually kind of wean into the regular vehicle market. And this is some pretty devastating stuff because they need these margins to sustain until they can get the electric vehicles into full ramp production between 2025 and 2030. So this is why I'm saying a lot of these companies I don't think are going to survive this. And just like the phone market, the telecom, and many other markets, there's going to start a divergence between the companies that are crazy growing and the ones that are starting to fall off. And we're going to inevitably see it become monopolistic, where there'll only be a handful of major players in this space. And we know it's going to be China, most likely competing with Tesla and maybe a few of these other legacy auto companies like Ford, but only time will truly tell. Now, recently we saw the come to public Pulsestar, a company that I wish I bought when it merged, because when it merged, it jumped up pretty dramatically. 80% was a great place to take profit, and people did, and it dropped pretty dramatically, and now it is up again pretty dramatically, about 38-40%. I like Polestar because it's trading at a much lower valuation compared to things like Lucid, just some of these other pure play EV companies, especially things like BYD, and obviously their production is nowhere near close yet, but I think this is one that I would pay close attention to if you're kind of looking to play within the EV space, along with just these battery metal producers. I've been taking a look at Lithium America Corp, a lesser known graphite producer called Salon Graphite, which is getting into production at the latter half of this year. And when I talk to these CEOs, which I'm lucky enough to personally get involved and have conversations with them, and I might even try and do another sponsored video with Salon because I like them a lot. And Donald Baxter, the CEO, I can't say too much, non-disclosure information, but the demand that they're starting to see for just battery metals continues to expand dramatically. And as we mentioned, in the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a shortage of battery metals. There already is a shortage of battery metals, and Tesla's looking to partner even with BYD potentially to take on some of their batteries to continue production in China, right? So this is some stuff to pay attention to in the electric vehicle space. It's going to get very tumultuous and very insane, in my opinion, over the next few years. And as we take a look at the broader markets today, it's still not looking any better. After those wicked gains last week, probably a bear market rally, as many people described, as we're seeing a sell-off. I mean, Bitcoin's down 2.5%, getting closer to below 20,000 again. VOO's down 1%. The broader markets are just getting devastated yet again today, but we'll see how this pans out, because we're not seeing aggressive new bottoms. We've got the Fed meetings coming up soon. We've got earnings coming up soon. So this is all going to dictate if we see a multiples compression yet again, because earnings aren't potentially going to get hindered pretty bad. But then again, I mean, it's such a mixed bag, right? Like, we're seeing credit reports come out that, the average person seeing a higher amount of debt. I don't know if that's related to regular spending. We don't know how good these numbers are coming out of things like Apple. If big companies start missing on those earnings, we could continue to see downside unless the fear has been so extreme and all the shorting and all this stuff is finally priced into the point where even if, bad earnings come out, the stocks don't drop that much. That's where I'm more on the fence of. But at this point, I will pass the question off to you. I'd love to know what you guys think about the electric vehicle space. Who do you think is going to win, and what do you think is going to come out of earnings? Do you think the stock market's going to go lower? Do you think it's going to go higher? I'd love to hear about it, but stay cool, stay awesome, and as always, I look forward to catching you in the next one.